Welcome to the program. This is the AM News. Details now. The minority on the Works and Housing Committee in Parliament is calling for the removal of the Lands Minister and his deputies over their failure to protect the country's water bodies and rivers from illegal mining. Currently, Ghana Water Company's production level has dropped from 70% to 40% nationwide due to illegal mining activities. But ranking member on the Works and Housing Committee, Vincent Oppong-Asamoah, says the country will begin to witness the desired results when the sector ministers are sacked by the president.
It falls directly under his ministry. This Galamsey issues, the mining issue falls under him. And you know, there's a deputy who is in charge of those areas, Mekuduka. In his own hometown, where his constituency is not spared. And it looks as if there's a huge institution at the Jubilee House that supervises this illegal act.
Some will argue that firing the land minister is not the way to go.
It needs to be a bit hard. Firing, the worst thing that anyone can suffer is a minister losing his job as a minister because of the fact that he couldn't perform. And this is a very, very sensitive issue. So if you have ministers, like two deputy ministers in charge of Lands and Forestry, and they cannot protect our mineral bodies, the best punishment you can give to them is to sack them. And whoever comes to you, give him what the presidency intends to see, so far as that area is concerned. But within the 3 months, I can bet you nothing is going to happen because we are getting into elections.
Five communities in the Hanta West municipality of the Western region have long suffered from the devastating effects of illegal mining, which has rendered their once clean rivers and streams unsafe. Thanks to the efforts of Amaja Tabula Services Limited, these communities can now heave a sigh of relief. The provision of mechanized boreholes is bringing back safe and clean water, offering renewed hope to the people who've endured these challenges for so long. Correspondent in Athalia has visited these communities and now reports.
Illegal mining continues to wreak havoc on water sources across the nation. For the people of Hotopo, Ehukrom, Fasen, Azane, and Eyinase, this has meant losing their lifeline, their rivers and streams. Residents were left with no option but to use water contaminated by toxic chemicals from mining activities.
So that is on use no adi. Yensu biala wa ono ano yenom yede holade yede yen bibiala. Because of that, nensu no yede no naughty. No ne yefe, but galamse funo be no be say no. Nti still ono ano yensu biala wa ade ya ye use. Yanom nso because of the neni nti. Oma sometimes yanoma ya yare. Ma fama no nso nyina ka wona yede ye. Nti se yede ya besawe yede kosi wo. Ada neni nile ye kakra nsana ye tumanum. And the 50 pesos.
At the Hotopo Chips compound, the local clinic struggles to operate efficiently due to lack of clean water, placing even more lives at risk. Joseph Apiakubi heads the Chips compound. He explains how the situation was.
Yes, actually, it was difficult. We need to walk very far distance to the community before we could get water for our activities. We do not have any water around. Waterborne diseases are very, very rampant and very common within this community because our major source of water was the stream, which the Galamsey has taken over and the whole water has gotten mad. And therefore, you can see that cholera, dysentery, and other severe waterborne diseases are some of the things that we normally experience within the community. Because if you don't bring good water, it can lead to poisoning. Because when you drink contaminated water, it can lead to other gastroenteritis conditions, which can affect the people within the community. So just as I was saying, this water will go a very long way to help us, and it will prevent the people in the community from getting some of these conditions, since we can now have access to potable water in the community.
In May 2024, Amaja Tubular Services, a joint venture of Amaja Oil Fields and Tenaris Global Services, cut sword for a life-changing project, the construction of 6 mechanized boreholes in 5 communities. Initially, the plan was to install 3 boreholes, but as the severity of the water crisis became clear, the project was expanded, Project manager Kofi Bediako shared the company's motivation.
Initially, we decided to do only 3 of these boreholes in these areas. But we realized that no, 3 might not even be enough. So we decided to double it from 3 to 6. So we did 6 boreholes in this area. We will go around in this area. We will still engage the local assembly, local people, and then try to understand their needs, try to understand what they want, try to understand what has not been provided for them, what they are deprived of. And then as a company, we will try and then assist them.
In addition to providing safer drinking water, the boreholes have brought a sense of security and dignity to daily life. Children no longer have to drink contaminated water, and women don't have to travel long distances to fetch water for household chores. For Joy News, in Athalia Kwanza, Hotopo, Western Region.
Moving on, at least 9 shops and a church have been razed by fire in Kasoa on Monday evening. This brings to 3 separate fire incidents recorded in the last 7 days. The fire, which was reported to have started in a metal container at about 5:30 p.m. at a suburb in Kasoa, swept through 8 others and a church, burning all belongings to ashes. Here's a victim who says she has lost all her belongings, including cash.
I'm the assembly member for James Motel area, and yes, part of it.
Okay. Tell us what happened.
Yes, myself, I wasn't around, yes, until not too long ago when I had information that some part of my electoral area is burning. So I have to come myself and see. And yes, I've witnessed the impact, yes, which I would say is very, very serious.
I learned you own a shop here. Tell me what happened.
I was at home and I had a call that our shop is burning. I don't know what exactly is the problem. At the time I get to this place, it was west. We locked the shop. It was west. There's nothing we can do about it.
What do you do in that shop?
I sell drink. It's a sport. I sell food too as well.
It's a drinking spot?
Yeah. Oh, I had a call.
You had a call?
Today is our off day, so we don't come to work today. We lost everything. Everything. I mean everything. Not even everything. We lost everything.
No.
Totally. No. Even our money is inside the we lost everything.
You mean fiscal cash?
Yes, please.
We can now listen to the account of the fire service on the incident. Alex Kingnati is communications officer of the Ghana Fire Service.
7:21, we're able to put the situation under control, meaning that it took us a bit less than an hour and a half to be able to put the situation under control and finally extinguish the fire at 8:20. Unfortunately, there was quite some damage. 9 metal containers that were used for commercial purposes, and its contents was burnt. And then a church by the name of Hill Fire Church, also its contents got totally burnt as a result of the fire.
Have you established?
No, that's not something we've been able to establish right now. We are still gathering intel to be able to come up with a conclusive investigation.
Some of the affected persons who spoke to us indicated that the fire actually started at 5:30. They've called the fire service and it took you over 30 minutes to come to the scene. Is that the case?
So you see, that's where I would want you to go in or come in and ask them what number they called. You see, it becomes very unbecoming when people say they've called fire service and yet they are not able to substantiate the number they called. They always say we called fire service, and then you ask them the number, and they end up giving you different numbers. Mind you, we don't have any intelligence system here in Ghana that locates or that notifies the fire service that there's a fire somewhere. So until someone calls the number, because we've been monitoring our handsets, and once the call gets to our control room, Our control room dispatches the nearest appliance within 1 minute. So please, the next time they say they called fire service, please do well to ask who called. When you ask who called, you will never find the person that said you called. Someone said, oh, someone said I called. They'll be pointing fingers at people who are not even there and say they called.
In other stories, a former Auditor General, Daniel Yao Domelevo, has criticized the Catholic Bishops' Conference for staying silent on the rampant corruption under the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration. He stressed the urgent need for strong leadership to tackle the nation's widespread corruption. Domelevo made these remarks at the Scarface of Corruption in Ghana conference in Accra, organized by the Crusaders Against Corruption, where panelists called on Ghanaians to reject the NPP in the December elections for its bad corruption records. Carlos Caloni has more in this report.
Themed The Scarface of Corruption in Ghana, the Crusaders Against Corruption conference gathered anti-corruption advocates from various backgrounds, spotlighting numerous scandals plaguing the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration. Speakers addressed issues such as the PDA deal, the $10 million wasted on the Cocoa Roast audit, and the $4.5 million AFCON extravagance, among others. Founding NPP member Dr. Nyaho Tameklo, speaking on the topic, assessing the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration in the fight against corruption, stated that the current NPP leadership lacks integrity.
When Akufo-Addo wanted to lead the party, I was one of his strongest supporters. A man I thought had integrity, a man I thought respects the rule of law. I felt I should give my support to him, and I did.
He further claimed that the Electoral Commission poses the biggest threat to the nation's democracy, pointing to recent voter transfers made without the consent of voters.
I am saying that at the moment, the greatest threat to our democracy is the Electoral Commission. That is the greatest threat to our democracy. And if we are not careful, they will lead this country into destruction. Mark my words. Why do I say so? How on earth can transfers be made from one particular constituency to another without the consent of the person? These are facts.
An NDC stalwart, Ecospio Gabra, speaking on political and judicial corruption, highlighted several corruption scandals under Akufo-Addo, urging the NPP to focus on stopping theft and looting rather than on breaking the eight.
The presidency has been demonstrated to be corrupt. Current presidency. Then, and we know that presidency is associated with the vice presidency. They go together. So the running mate, all that. And that's why when people say that they want to break the eight, some of us say, I said, well, it's fine for a political party to say they want to break the eight. But we are saying, why don't you break the stealing and stop the looting? You want to break the eight? Yes, fine. It's a good ambition to have from a political party point of view. But break the stealing and stop the looting. Break the stealing and stop the looting. Break the stealing and stop the looting. At least, at the minimum. That's something that you can control within your party.
On his part, a former Auditor General, Daniel Yao Domelevo, stated that the Catholic bishops have gone silent in the fight against corruption, despite the glaring scandals facing the country, urging the youth to demand accountability.
When I was in Malawi, I was always citing my bishops in Ghana to say, listen to the bishop, the shepherd of the people. They are holding government accountable. All of a sudden, they are all quiet. It surprises me, as if they don't see what is happening. There are a lot of evil going on. And if they cannot speak, then who are they for? Are they for the church or they are for government? Are they for the people or they are for evil? So that's the point I am making, that I think their voice go very far. There are a lot of Catholics in this country. There are a lot of Catholics, Christians in this country. If the Christian Council, the Bishops' Conference, and all those religious bodies, including those of Muslim and Islam, they will all speak as they were speaking in the past, I think we may be moving towards peace.
The anti-corruption conference also featured a panel discussion where experts stressed the urgent need for a direct and relentless fight against the growing corruption menace in the country. For Joy News, Carlos Galoni, Accra.
Incumbent New Patriotic Party Member of Parliament for Suhum constituency, Kojo Asante, popularly known as Boafo, has announced his decision to contest as an independent candidate in the December 7, 2024 general election. Boafo Kojo Asante lost the NPP parliamentary primary in January 2024 to Frank Asiedu Bekwei, popularly known as Protozwa, with about 179 votes difference. In that parliamentary primary, Frank Asiedu Bekwei secured 496 votes, while Kojo Asante had 320 votes out of the total valid vote cast, making Protozwa the new parliamentary candidate for the NPP in the Suhum constituency.
Supporters of Kojo Asante since January 2024 have been nurturing plans to present him in the 2024 general election as independent parliamentary candidate for the Suhum constituency, claiming that he is the preferred candidate for the masses in the constituency. Addressing his supporters after a head walk over the weekend at the Suhum and Ponsa market, Honorable Kojo Asante officially declared his intention to contest as an independent parliamentary candidate, taking inspiration from the call of his constituents and the crowd that showed up at the head walk. Sources close to the NPP suggest that high-ranking New Patriotic Party officials, including the Vice President and flag bearer of the party, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, and Minister of Outbreak, Mr. Brian Echampon, have attempted to talk to him to rescind his decision, but wouldn't avail. Kojo Asante was conspicuously missing during the campaign tour of Dr. Mahamadou Baumia in the Suhum constituency. The current MP, Kojo Asante, defeated the then Member of Parliament, Mr. Frederick Opare Ansah, in the party's 2020 parliamentary primaries, securing 394 votes, whilst Mr. Opare Ansah secured 272 votes.
They did the help. They petitioned me. And then they said that it doesn't matter what has happened. I should come and serve them. I should come and continue my work. So if you are talking about what, I mean, sort of the impetus, my voice, what is pushing me to do what I'm doing or to do this declaration, then all that I would say is that it is Suhum people. It is what? Suhum people. One person cannot say that you are going for independence. One person. Can one person go for independence? I'm asking you, can one person go for independence? One person cannot go for independence, right? Yeah, it is the best. It is what? The best. I have only one vote. I have only one vote. So I cannot stand here and say that I'm going for independence. I can only say that I'm going for independence when I know that the people really want me to go for independence. And the people want me to go for independence. That is why I came to do the declaration this morning.
He officially launched his campaign featuring his posters and t-shirts with the slogan Obuafo Tuaso, Obuafo Stay With Us, among other inscriptions. Maxwell Kudaka report for Joy News.
In the central region, the youth of Inukun traditional area have kicked against the change of dates for the celebration of the Odambia Festival, a festival celebrated by the chiefs and people of Salt Pond. According to the youth, the change in dates will impact the historical and cultural significance of the festival and affect patronage and their cultural heritage. Convener of the youth, Enes Ejiri, has been addressing the news conference after a protest march at Salt Pond.
We gather today to advocate for the return of the Odambia Festival to its traditional August dates. Yes. This press conference follows a petition submitted by the concerned Inukun Youth and Citizens for Development, which we all represent. Yes. Our petition challenges the recent decision to move the festival from August to October. Hello? Our primary concern is the cultural and historical disruption caused by changing the festival dates. For generations, Odambia has been celebrated in August, aligning with our traditional agricultural circles and community activities. Moving into October severs these historical connections, thereby diminishing the festival's cultural significance. We are concerned about potential reductions in participation. August is the time when many Inukun people, both local and abroad, return home for the festival. Shifting the date could alienate those who plan their schedules around August, and adapting to a new date poses logistical challenges that may affect the festival's success. Ladies and gentlemen, and members of the media, one reason cited for the date change is its overlap with the festival of Abiatu Dominancy traditional area. Whilst we respect neighboring traditions, we strongly disagree that this should necessitate changing our festival dates. The Odambia Festival is central to our cultural identity, and we believe we can honor both festivals with careful planning and dialogue without disrupting our own traditions. Another critical issue is the exclusion of the youth from the decision-making process. Ladies and gentlemen, the youth are essential to the future of our tradition, and their involvement is crucial. Excluding them risks creating a generational divide that could weaken our community unity.
Coming up next is Business Update. Let's get right into it. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana says the current reduction of petroleum prices at the pumps is as a result of the deregulation policy introduced in 2015. This morning, Star Oil followed Goil by dropping its prices into the 13 cedi range per litre. Diesel also has gone down by 20 pesos and it is selling at 14 cedi 70 pesos. Market watchers are linking the reduction to the slowdown in cedi's rate of depreciation and prices of crude oil stabilizing on the international markets. Duncan Namwa is Executive Secretary of COPEC.
What is happening currently is exactly what the consumer would have wished to see under the deregulated program. Fortunately, it's taking us a couple of years since we went into the deregulated pricing regime somewhere July 2015. So if you do the numbers, you are doing almost 9 years. Star Oil has been at this marketing for quite some time now. And we are not surprised that currently they are doing very well as the second largest by way of volumes locally. If you look at that strategy and the response from consumers, Pius, the indication you get is that consumers are indeed price sensitive, and indeed they would go for where they believe they get quality, where they believe they get value for money by way of prices. And so what we have seen over the months with Star Oil edging out the likes of Total, Shell onto the #2 spot is indeed not surprising because, like I indicated earlier, consumers are indeed price sensitive and will choose where they believe they get the right quality at the right price.
The Register of Companies has vowed to continue to clean its register until all illegal entities are removed. This follows the removal of more than 600 businesses from the Register of Companies books and in June this year for failing to file their annual returns after several warnings. Speaking to Joy Business, Register of Companies Jemima Owari maintain they will not relent in ensuring their books are sanitized.
Yes, so we will continue to clean the register. We will continue to do that. It doesn't mean that is the end of it. I am just putting it out there. Initially, you used to say that I'm just talking too much and that I'm not really acting. Now we are bringing the ads down. It is not a delight to take companies off the register, but there's no point keeping a name on the register when they are not complying with the requirements under the Act. So once we take it out from next year, we will continue to clean out all companies that are not carrying on business. And if by this notice, more people want to get on the register, they should come and we'll take it off.
And that does it for business updates, and it's a wrap for the AM News Bulletin on the AM show. You want to stay with us because we get into a news review segment, and Kojo Poku, energy analyst, Dr. Wisdom Dogwe, financial analyst, are joining us to review the various newspapers. In a bit, we'll be right back on your screens.